1, 2. Yeah, we can hear me. Hey, Sinner. Say anything. Say anything. Hey, anything. How's everyone doing? Hello, YouTube. How's everyone? It's been 2 weeks, actually. Lake, thank you so much for the subscription. You are helping me bring my content to hundreds of thousands of people around the world and helping to support my channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Lake. I really, really appreciate it. I've been okay. It's actually been a really rough 2 weeks. My cat got really sick. So since last Saturday, it has been going to the vet, driving 2 hours to go to a specialist. It's been kind of a crap 2 weeks, to be honest. But it looks like everything's gonna be okay. We're just waiting for him to pass a bowel movement. TMI, I know that, but other than that, should be good. Thanks, Lake. I appreciate you being here for a short bit anyway. Why SaaS became such a hype? I think it's just fun to build a SaaS, right? It's also fun to build kind of your own projects and not have to work at a company building something you're not that excited about. Yeah, thanks, Inathin. I hope it is as well. We're not out of the woods yet, but he was almost dead on Monday. I saw him and he just couldn't even move. So we got him into hospital and he's doing a lot better now. Hopefully he makes a full recovery. His eyes are completely black at the moment. Sarah BH, I am streaming on Twitch as well, yes. Some random dev, I'm sorry to hear that, man. What was the, what questions were you asked? Hey, Bastian. Still doing the SaaS. I was just giving the story about my cat. Thank you, DevKit. Thank you. I was meant to be back in the UK today, this week, but the whole cat thing caused me to cancel my trip. So I will be going back at some point, but not yet. Uh-oh. That's actually easy enough to fix. Where's the bar? It's, yeah, no hat today, Wolfric. Door, I have made progress. No bar, I've, rearranged my windows, and so the bar got lost again. Module not found. This is interesting. Maybe I got to restart bun. No hat, yeah, Wolfric. Yeah, thank you, Bastian. I hope he recovers okay as well. Let's move my face out of the way for that. I'm using NixOS Sarah BH? Sarab? Yeah, using NixOS. I'll do a video on NixOS very soon. Yeah, DevKit, you got it. Website's coming along pretty well, actually. We've got media playing. I want to do the word highlighting. I'll probably do it on DOA, I think. I'm going to try to keep DOA much more Linux focused and configuration focused, and then DOC more code focused. Just so that there is a bit of a crossover of the audience, but I think more people might be interested in code that aren't interested in Linux and configuration. You might be mixing up British voiceover programming videos. I can't remember his name now. No Boilerplate's done some NixOS stuff. Hey, Ant07. Yeah, DOA is a bit more niche. You're correct. It's a bit more niche, but it does more successfully. I think because people like that niche. I actually really want to do this one. I've got a video I really want to do, but I don't know which channel it fits on best. But it's about how to use or how to like run a production service self-hosted, if that makes sense. One peripheral, we are continuing to build out the micro SaaS that I've been working on, which is a SaaS to use transcriptions, basically. Yeah, no boilerplate's awesome. What am I using for the backend? So this, at the moment, is a little more complex than it started. So it's Next.js for both the API and the actual front end, just because that's the quickest way to get started. But for the actual processing of data, I was doing it on Next, but there's some really good reasons to not do that on Next. So I'm actually doing it with a serverless data pipeline using S3 and Lambda, basically to transcode the audio into something smaller, or if it's a video file, to transcode the audio out of the video file. Then it gets uploaded to OpenAI. Thanks, Wolfric. Enjoy your walk. What about Auth? I'm using Auth0 for Auth, just because Auth0 and Next.js have a fantastic integration with each other. Your home lab video is actually an inspiration for my final year engineering degree project, writing my own Kubernetes encapsulation layer, essentially a flake. That's awesome. I'm really glad that that was an inspiration. Yeah, I think doing something like that is actually really cool. I have like a couple of product ideas I really want to do for like self-hosting. Why serverless storage? Just because Lambda data pipelines are pretty easy. You have a few benefits of using Lambda versus using kind of non-Lambda instances. You could use a non-Lambda instance, but I mean, all these are doing is pulling out the audio files and transcoding them. Hamza870, thank you so much for the subscription. You are helping me bring my content to hundreds of thousands of people around the world and helping to support my dreams. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. But yeah, running it through, let me see if we can log in. Running it through Lambda, you can have it very event-driven. So, oh, thank you, Hamza. I'm glad you've enjoyed them. I really like the direction I'm going at the moment. I'm originally from the UK, but I now live in the US, believe it or not. Hey, Ima, how you doing? Yeah, long time no see, Almaz. Okay, so why am I using Lambda? So Lambda can be very event-driven. You get a really high threshold, which is why it's kind of nice. And I'm using SQS because the main thing I want out of this is reliability. When somebody uploads, let's say, a gigabyte video file, I want to make sure that I actually get it transcoded. If you're running it in a non-serverless instance, you have to handle graceful shutdown because you're going to be you may restart your service during the middle of a processing job, and you don't want that to happen. Lambda's pretty good for that. There are some caveats, of course, with Lambda as well, though, that you have to consider. But anything kind of data-driven pipeline, very good. No, I'm not really fully on the AWS Kool-Aid. I don't love AWS, but Lambda is pretty easy to get set up, especially if you use something like Tofu or Terraform. NextOS, by the way, thank you so much for the resubscription. You are helping me bring my content to hundreds of thousands of people around the world and helping to support my dreams. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, definitely not fully on the AWS Kool-Aid. Any sort of serverless architecture will be fine. What I really want to do is I want to build something that has like Lambda as a fallback, so you can use event-driven architecture on your own self-hosted. And then if your own self-hosted compute at your home is unavailable, it will fall. I am still drinking on each sub. Yeah, I got a drink actually. So if your like home lab isn't up and running, then the processing falls to like a failover. I'd love to build a product like that. That's something I'd use, right? So like you self-host your own. What is the chat running below? Yeah, so anything, basically, I don't know, I got to think about it in my head a little bit more, but you would host your own website. Let's say it's a website. A website's not really the best thing. I think like data pipelines and Lambda and stuff is pretty cool, but you could do it for multiple things. let's say you're running your own website, it has to be kind of stateless. That's the only caveat, really. If it's stateless, let's say you host your own website, you're running your own architecture, but at some point you do not have the redundancy of a data center. SQS non-FIFO, Lambda with Node.js runtime. I'm using Lambda with the Go. Well, the runtime I'm using the new AWS runtimes that they have, and it has support for Go. So I'm just using Go. I can actually show you the code for it. It's really, really bare bones, but there we go, pipeline. So this is the audio extractor. I'm using, it's all just in one file at the moment, but this is it. It's pretty simple. It's just using FFmpeg, which has a layer that I've added. 6dev, I'm using Hyperland for my window manager. K8's Node on the cloud. How can you join the chat server? If you go onto Twitch, it should be in the description. A link to my Twitch. Ali, what are we doing today? We're continuing to build out this lovely transcription service. But what I want to do today is highlight the words as it processes through. I did have this working, but there was an issue with it because I was updating an animation, or I was updating an audio time and then checking basically for whether the time of each word was within the audio time that was being updated. And it worked. The only problem was if you have like 4,000 words, it's incredibly slow. So there needs to be a better way to do this that you're not refreshing or redrawing the DOM each time you update the animation time. So I think there is a way to do it. I think you only update the state whenever something does change, but you need to check more frequently than that. Hey Mosa, how's it going? But I don't know if you can hear this. Let's see. Well, I can't even hear it. I need to see if I'm actually outputting. Don't know how to get my audio settings working. Yeah, I can't get my audio out. Am I using a state manager? What do you mean, Dora? Why did I choose to build this SaaS even though there are people already offering it? Because I had some specific needs, and I'm going to develop this even further. But I needed these to be in a specific kind of segment. I also want to be able to share this with video editors so that they can see this. And then I want to be able to highlight certain words and it takes you to where they are in the audio track, basically. So this is more for like video editing and stuff, but I'm going to add more features to this. I have not seen that yet, Bastian. I need to take a look at it. Last 2 weeks have been crazy, but I'm going to take a look at Cosmic. Did I watch Peter Levels? I have not watched his... I've seen a lot of the reactions to it, but I actually haven't watched the full interview yet. It looked interesting, though. Oh, awesome, Almez. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, TechFed. Dora, no, I'm not using any state management libraries. I'm always dubious about state management when it comes to front end. Okay, what I want to do is... I mean, we can't hear this because for some reason my audio is not working. Even though it is plugged in. But I can't see even coming out the audio. Well, maybe it is actually. Let me see. Which is okay, you might be able to hear that. Tactile switch with a gentle noise profile. Whilst using this keyboard, I think that's working. All right, we got some audio coming out. What is the SaaS? The SaaS is just a simple transcription service, but more catered towards people that need to share transcriptions with timestamps and stuff. So I'm going to build this out to be more than just transcriptions. It's going to be basically a platform for anybody who creates videos and needs to work with a content creator or needs to work with a video editor to have a bunch of tools available. Because working with video editors is kind of difficult, and I want to have solutions in place to help me work with them easier. So I'm just going to build them. There you go. I have a good editor at the moment. I have another really good one, but he's not that fast. So I have like 2 good editors at the moment that I'm working with. The Keychron was the first video I did with a trial with them, so it was pretty good, I thought. I liked the Keychron video. For transcription, what am I using? I'm using Whisper V2. Okay, so let's get the word highlight done. Currently, it's Whisper via the OpenAI, but I probably will change it to a self-hosted one. Again, I want to have that kind of self-hosted home lab, but with a fallback, and figure out how to do that. Do I work at a YC-backed startup, or am I freelance? I'm freelance. I guess self-employed, not freelance. That's good, Hugo. As long as you didn't notice anything off. That's the important thing. I have an editor working on a huge video at the moment. It's like a 30-minute video, so we'll see. But it's nice. I get to like be a bit more free to do things, or as these last 2 weeks are, drive back and forth between Tulsa, Oklahoma, and where I live. I'm not on Neovim, no, not yet. Not yet. I will be on Neovim at some point, but I haven't made the plunge yet. It's okay, Wayland. I think there are some caveats to it. Screen recording is still an issue, or yeah, screencasting. I use I can't remember what it's called, an Elgato 4K X or whatever. I just use a capture card. Capture card solves most of the problems, and the nice thing is you can use the capture card and plug it back into the same computer, so you can screencast that way. What is this interval? Okay, that's to set the current time. I see. So this is why it was being really slow. I wonder if I can actually see this on here. What have I done? Which channel TechFed copies me? Am I still using the Keychron V10? I've still got it. I am using the Moonlander though, as I said at the end of that video. Moonlander is the one that I use. Hey Shreyas. Dreams of Autonomy. You mean Dreams of Autonomy copies me, TechFed? Yeah. I'll have to have a word with them. Okay, where's the word here? DOA is a copycat. The problem is they seem to be doing it better, so maybe I should start copying DOA. Oh, that sucks, Almaz. The Moonlander is great. I love the Moonlander. I have it with slightly less keys, but I think it is my favorite of all the splits. I've still got the ADAM or ADM 42 to review. Hannibal Arco, the SaaS is basically a transcription service. Have I built something with HTMX? I have. Dreamsofcode.io is HTMX. Oh yeah, I want to use this in some point, but not yet. Are these all the sentences? Yeah, these aren't the words. So highlighting individual words is kind of difficult, I think. I think I have a util. Lib. Sentence splitter. Okay. So this is where it gets a little tricky. We have to split the sentences up into words, but the words that OpenAI Whisper returns. So it's not like just split all the words up. What does uppercase Q do in Neovim? Looks like it's trying to play one of the registers. I guess Q records, right? Yeah, so, okay, Q records, and then I guess uppercase Q. Let's have a look. Let's do Q, Q, hello. Oh my god. Okay, uppercase Q replays the last recording that you did. Yeah, it plays the previous macro. Am I currently watching any anime? I just finished the Hashira training arc of Demon Slayer. Yeah, last recording is pretty useful. Yeah, it was kind of meh. I agree. I mean, it was like a bridge arc, right? It wasn't exactly amazing. It kind of ended amazingly, but then it's just building up, isn't it? Yeah, it didn't see much of a power up. I agree. Don't press capital Q, it's the worst place in history. I think it's just because it's kind of non-deterministic. Is it just keep replaying it? It's kind of weird, right? Maybe it doesn't just play the last register. Oh no, what's happened here? Have we, I think we're stuck. This time I can't even get out of it. Oh my gosh, my computer's taken off. Okay. We gotta kill it. I don't know if you can hear that. Oh, it's still going. Did that get it? Okay, we got it. We got it. Playing the last macro, yeah, I think it looks like it, yeah, leads to recursion. Killing the terminal would have killed it. Killing the terminal would have killed it. Okay, sections. What we need to do is we need to split the sentences. So we have to parse all the sentences, pull out all the words and the text. Wait, do I have parse sentences? I do. What does a part have? So I guess here we would then need to, let's do sentence.parts. .map. Okay, I think we need to map over each of these parts. Wait. Is the performance bottleneck in React or the actual JS code? That's a great question, Dora. I think it's the JavaScript. I think it's probably the React. I think it's because it tries to loop through a number of DOM elements to highlight the word. So the longer the DOM, you can see it's not very good. Gobinderpool. We are building a SaaS. Well, today I've built a SaaS, I guess. So this SaaS here, oh yeah, we don't have the transcriptions anymore. Normally there's transcriptions there. Let's just do part span part.text. Okay, so that works for getting all the text out in the different parts, which is fine. I have watched Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, last season of Jujutsu Kaisen was really good. I enjoyed that one. That was an intense season, or intense arc. Do I have a Linux chat server or open PGP key server or an IRC? I do not have a Linux chat server. Okay, so this is where we want to basically highlight the part if the timestamp exists. And I'll show you how this works at the moment. I mean, we still probably want to keep this. Class name equals... do parts dot start. It's not equal to null, and part dot end is not equal to null. Part dot start is less than or equal to timestamp, and wait, greater than or equal to, right? This is spreading over multiple lines. I think we can do less than there. You use some what sound like Fireship's YouTube videos voice? Well, thank you. He's got a good voice. Okay, let's do background blue. All right, let's try this out. Does this just work? Okay, that does work. So why is this not working? Okay, that is. Current time. Sometimes the dev server. I gotcha. In my case, I have the banana version, which is... That's not working though. Let's just see. Part.end is less than timestamp. I'm gonna just see if we can get it with the... So that does work. That highlights all of them. I don't know what this weird artifact is here, but that's fine. It's because start is null. Is start null? I mean, it looks like it's working, right? What browser am I using? Firefox. My guess is the part.end. Maybe I need to do timestamp is greater than or equal to part.start. And timestamp, I think I got it the wrong way around. And the timestamp is less than equal to part.end, or in this case, we can just do less than. In my case, I have the banana version, which is described as a tactile switch with a gentle noise profile. Okay, that works. On this keyboard, I actually found these switches to be rather enjoyable to type on. But if I had decided that I wanted to swap these out, I could have easily done so, as the switches on the V10 Max are hot swappable. In fact, Keychron provide their own tool inside of the box that you can use to switch these out. But you can see it's not exactly timing. Yeah, the React render tree is going to be awful, because it has to re-render every time. So how do we do this in an optimal way? That's the real question. Because this is definitely not optimal. And when you do it with 4,000 words, it slows down. With an external observer? Okay, so what's an external observer? Explain. So my understanding is that you would have something else responding to the timestamp updates, and then you would only trigger redraw when the state actually changes, right? So when it moves on to the next word. But you don't want to redraw every word, right? But if you don't have to, you only want to redraw the two words that do change. Have each word as a node and have the node listen to the event individually. How does that work, Dora? Is that like an actual thing in React? External observer? Intersection observers, is that what they're called? If you use something like signals and solid, this is an easy pattern. Do we have signals in React though? This is where my lack of React knowledge comes in as a bit of a negative. My guess would be like, the way I would do it, you're still triggering a huge amount of redraws though, but you're not doing it every 16 seconds, you're just doing it every time there's a word change. Either you have an array of states where each word stores a reference to that, but that's still kind of terrible. So let's say we just create a bunch of states here, right? Like an array of them. But I don't really like that still. Attach an event listener on every node. Would that just be basically a use state for every node? Like an individual one? Amateur Hacker, which is the new Zen browser based on Firefox? Or is it called Zen Browser? Because if it's called Zen Browser, I may be interested. More memories but less rendering? Yeah. I mean, that's probably the best way to do it. So you just do like for... you need a 2D array though, right? I think. So for sentences... For let sentence of sentences. Actually, this is going to be easier to use a map. Still okay. I would say use an actual state management library. I mean, that would be the smart thing to do, but I'm not going to do it just yet. I want to keep my dependency tree as low as possible until I have to. That could potentially be a bad idea, but we'll see. All right, so we're mapping over each part. And then we're just going to return a use state, I guess. Keep it as false. It's still bad. I actually think there's another optimization here because I still don't want to check over 4,000. I only want to check the next one, right? So it's more like a linear list. Make an actual component for each word. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you mean like word part? Like this, right? And then... And then each one has a use state inside. Okay, so like... Like this, right? And then I guess we're passing in the timestamp here as well. Let's just leave that as any. Actually, I think it's a number. If the time state is stored higher up on the tree, then everything we will re-render with the timer instead. But then if I'm using a use state here, right, is this not going to be... It shouldn't re-render everything, or would it re-render... Like if nothing's actually... I don't know. This is where I don't know the internals of... Yeah, I'm not either. This, I think, would be my guess on how we can do it. So, why is this complaining? Expected 0 to 1 arguments, but got 2. Not use state, sorry. Use effect. Yeah, use effect, you're right. Would use memo be better, actually, if we did is active? I'm going to use effect. But I think use memo is probably going to be correct. In fact, we can do set is active. Okay, so individual words here. Okay. Where is the state of my timer? It is here, set current time. So it's in the actual default component. In my case, I have the banana version, which is described as a tactile switch with a gentle noise profile. Whilst using this keyboard, I actually found these switches to be rather enjoyable to type on. But if I had decided that I wanted to swap these out, I could have easily done so. But would that trigger a redraw of everything? Hot swappable. In fact, Keychron provide their own tool inside of the box that you can use to switch these out. Would it redraw everything, or is it only going to redraw? That's my... I mean, I don't know how React works on this point, but my assumption would be that it's not going to... Well, I guess we need to actually see the optimization. But my assumption is it's only going to update... Only if the value updates will it redraw the DOM element, if that makes sense. So I'm from the UK originally, but now I live in the United States of America. I'm a US citizen. If you're asking me, Safko. Oh, you're asking anything. My bad. Yeah, this is, I mean, I'm assuming this would optimize. I need to actually figure out how to view the performance of React. It triggers everything from the component with the state down in terms of the VDOM calculation, but the actual DOM is the difference is calculated. I look like a US guy, but speak like a US UK guy. Oh, thank you. All right, let's have a look at the actual performance tools. React add-ons perf. Is that what we need? Yeah, I think, I mean, for me, I think the use effect will be triggered for every word, right? If that makes sense. So it's definitely not the most optimal, but it's not redrawing the DOM. So I think use effects on each word is being triggered every time there's an update, which is still quite expensive. The reality, I think the best way to improve on it would be to have like a linear list of timestamps. And then whenever it crosses a threshold into the next one, that's when you would update this timestamp value, which would then cause everything to redirect. React debugger. I don't want analytics. Next is support for Web Vitals. Is that what we want to do? Use report Web Vitals hook. Is that it? Instrumenting? That seems more like... There's the React debugger as well. OTel. We don't want to do OTel. React DevTools. Is there a browser extension? Why not SvelteKit? There was a couple of things I didn't like about SvelteKit, but also auth with OAuth and next is just super easy. And in all honesty, I kind of said this last time, but the main thing you want to do when building a new SaaS product is to be as quick as possible. React DevTools, browser extension. Can we get it for Firefox? Let's add it. If they steal my data, that sucks. Easiest way to debug websites built with React is to install the React Developer Tools browser extension. Now visit the website. Need to attach a component to the React tree as well. Which component? I don't see it in the docs. No, it's not a very Nix-like way, you're right. You're 100% right, Bastian. I thought I could sneak it by you guys. Alright, let's have a look. This page doesn't appear to be using React. I mean, that ain't right. You're running your app from a local file. Just right-click and inspect. Inspect element grind set. Inspect. Do I need to restart or something? Oh wait, there it is, profiler. Click the record button to start recording. All right, now if we run it, we should see it, right? In my case, I have the banana version, which is described as a tactile switch with a gentle noise profile. Whilst using this keyboard, I actually found these switches to be rather enjoyable to type on. But if I had decided that I wanted to swap these out, I could have easily done so, as the switches on the V10 Max are hot swappable. In fact, Keychron provide their own tool inside of the box that you can use. I think you have to stop in order for it to process. What? How do I get like deeper? Render 3 milliseconds. I mean, that's not bad. But I think I need to try it with like a much bigger audio file. Like a 4,000 word one, right? If we got like a 4,000 word file. Oh, you can't see that. Let me... You guys can see that now? What caused this update? Transcription. What caused this update? Word. So I think you're right that the transcription does cause it to update, but I don't know if it's redrawing everything. It does look pretty heavy. My guess transcription is going to be the audio, right? So I think you're right, Dora. How's it going, Laze JLVV? Hamza, I am using Linux, yeah. I'm using NixOS, by the way. Shouldn't redraw anything. I mean, it's just here. You can kind of see it's 4 milliseconds. I mean, it's not exactly nothing. If I remove it, let's see what happens. Actually, we can leave that here. Set current time. You don't use the status bar? I normally do, but it's just disappeared here. But I have it on my main monitor over to the left here. Shouldn't redraw anything besides the highlighted word. Well, I hope that's the case. In my case, I have the banana version, which is described as a tactile... I'm using too much mouse in Neovim. I am, aren't I? Whilst using this keyboard, I actually found these switches... Eduardo to Sousa. Eduardo to Sousa. Thank you so much for the subscription. You are helping me bring my content to hundreds of thousands of people around the world and helping to support my dreams. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you an awful lot. You're correct, Almaz. I got a drink. You're also helping to keep me hydrated. Okay, let's see what happened here. See, I mean, the performance here, much less re-rendering, right? Or commits. So I think you were correct, Dora. It's going to just call you edu. Edu? I'll call you edu. Edu, edu, edu. One of the three. In the component tab, there is an option to highlight re-renders. Ooh, awesome. Let me have a look. Debugging components. Record why each component rendered. Is that a good reason? Whereabouts would the re-rendered... So small. Highlight updates when components render. There we go. That's it. Shuvi, gotcha. Sorry, Shuvi. I'm calling you by your last name. Okay, so highlight when things re-render, which is probably going to be a little easier. So if it re-renders every word every time, then we know that there's a problem. In my case, I have the banana version. All right, nothing re-rendering there. That's a good tip, by the way, on the re-render. Thank you for that. Lazy. Okay, let's try it again. Do I have to re-enable it? Nope, good. In my case, I have the banana version. Yeah, it looks like it re-renders everything, right? Switch with a gentle noise profile. Is that what we're seeing? Or are we seeing something else? Whilst using this keyboard, I actually found these switches to be rather enjoyable to type on. Yeah, so we don't want that. Because that's fine for however many words we have here, but when it gets to like 10,000 words, if I had to, it gets pretty slow. Okay, so this approach isn't going to work. So I guess we can't update the current time every time. We should only update the current time when the audio's current time progresses across to a different word. But even then, you only want to update that single word. You would make the parent broadcast out timestamped events. Bounty Hunter, I am reading YouTube chat as well. I'm just not displaying it. Then have the children listen to those events. How do you do that in React? Broadcast events, is that it? Redux? Okay, so this is using like a state thing. How do we do it without a state management? Oh look, Jay Lunsdorf. Just try spamming out Windows events and see how badly it sucks. Let's have a look. Just standard event listeners. Okay, pushing it into browser. Yeah, that is one way to do it. Go ham with raw.js. I mean, I'm a big fan of raw.js, to be fair. But I do like getting those sort of LSP, language server context, autocomplete, code highlighting. I mean, there's some reasons to like TypeScript. I've changed my tune on it. Has anyone used the... what's the AI code editor that everybody's going crazy for on tech Twitter at the moment? Hey, OK Flea. We are trying to get an efficient way of rendering what happens here. So let me show you. Currently, we redraw a nice highlight whenever the word... You don't use Twitter or AI. I mean, you're probably a very happy guy, Bastian, then, I have to say. Because every time I use Twitter or AI, I get unhappy. OK Flea, you are correct. Cursor. Cursor is the... I need to give that a go. In my case, I have the banana. Yeah, this is the problem. We're re-rendering everything every time. Gentle noise profile. And we only want to re-render each word whenever the word updates, or whenever the timestamp updates. And I don't know how to do that in React. My guess is, I mean, we could do browser events. Let's do some research. Use effect without re-render. It's a React problem. That's annoying. This isn't the one we want. It re-renders when the prop value changes, so pass the value to the word component as a boolean from the component above. Tris-K. So rather than having the isActive passed in here, we have to have the isActive, but that means we would have to have n number of isActives, right? Use callback. It's cache a function definition between re-renders. I see. Chris Alouette, thank you so much for the subscription. Or for the resubscription, I should say. You are helping me bring my content to hundreds of thousands of people around the world and helping to support my dreams. Thank you. I got a drink. Twitch and YouTube, yeah, they're two pretty good places to be on social media. I think those are probably the two that I'm on. I go on tech Twitter every so often, and then usually the hot takes take me by surprise, and then I just kind of decide to not go on it anymore. Okay, so if we're setting isActive here, right? But that does mean we need to still go through every word, and we need to create a prop for every word, right? Oh, yeah, maybe that is a problem. That actually might be a problem. Is it that simple? I don't really want to do an index. How do we do that? I don't really have a unique key for each of these, though. That's the only problem. Let's just do this for the moment. Let's test that it's working before we generate a unique key for these. Not having keys shouldn't cause issues. The default key is index if you don't provide a key. Okay. If the default key is index if you don't provide a key, then shouldn't be the issue then. Why can't you use key equals J? The reason, maybe I can actually. The reason I don't think you can is, the reason I'm not using it is because, is that not going to cause conflicts between two keys or two words? Because surely we're going to have a word with multiples. They're under different lists. All right. J it is then. Let's try that. I mean, if that's not the issue, then yeah, then this is going to be, I don't think it's going to solve the problem. It did just complain though. In my case, I have still rendering everything. Which is you could generate a random unique UID, but the problem there is it's going to be unique every time you re-render, or is that not going to be the case? But I mean, I don't think this is solving the issue, because we're still re-rendering every time. As a tactile switch. want to actually try something else. Let's get rid of the timestamp here. Let's just see if this re-renders everything as well.
In my case, I have the
So I mean, everything is still re-rendering at this point. So really we've still got an issue, right? Even if we're setting the is active. Need to memorize the key. So when we get rid of setting the current time, it doesn't re-render everything. Wait.
In my case, I have the banana version, which is described as a tactile switch.
Throw away the use effect with a timestamp dep. Maybe that's a good thing to do. Wait, we threw that away. You mean the one inside of sections, right? Let's see if that re-renders.
In my case, I
still re-rendering everything,
which is described as a tactile switch with a gentle noise profile. Whilst using this keyboard,
so it's going to be just that we're updating the timestamp, right? It's in the parent. The past sentence should be fine. Look, if I go into the sections and I delete the actual timestamp here, wait, I need to memorize this. Okay, use memo. Let's get rid of this.
in my case, I have.
So this is still re-rendering everything. And that's because I'm passing in the timestamp here, I think. Like that door? Shivy? Okay. Let's get rid of the timestamp element here. Actually, that might have been the problem the whole time. Let me change the music. It's far too bumping. Let's go for something a bit chiller. The main problem is still the timestamp? Yeah, I think so.
In my case, I have the banana version, which is described as a tactile switch with a gentle noise.
Good night, anything. We basically just want, I mean, if I get rid of the timestamp here as well, this is probably causing a bit of an issue.
case,
Well, no, it's still causing an issue.
in my case, I have the banana.
So why would the audio.current time? Why is this updating every time when we change it? I guess maybe that is the case.
In my case, I have the banana version, which is described as a tactile switch with a gentle noise.
Maybe it's just not possible. Maybe it's not possible to do it. I don't like to think that that's the case, but there's got to be a way. Never say never. Yeah, I agree. I agree. There's got to be a way to do it. This is just basically a knowledge issue. Because that set current time is being called on the parent, and it causes all children to re-render. So, let's try the browser. How do we do browser events? We don't want these ones. Not browser events, window events. Add event listener. How do I send my own events though? Handle pub to so many children. I think still if we do, I don't know. Yeah, there's still a lot of children, isn't it? Really, we just want to set is active. And I mean, so is active should come not from here, right? Is active should come from here. But it needs an index. Either we need to use the event bus and listen to the event directly in the required child. What's the other option there, Moser? Just try the naive approach, have the parent publishing timestamps and the children listening to the timestamp change. Yeah, go on then, let's try this. Let's try that. How do we publish events again? Dispatch event. Okay. What's the element? Oh, no worries, Moza. Custom event for extra fields. Okay, let's do custom event then. Wait, what? That's the old-fashioned way. Okay. We can do dynamic events. This does dispatch event. I don't know why this is complaining. Okay, so we're dispatching. Yeah, it might be a TS issue. Don't need the is active prop. No, I don't think we do. I'm keeping it in there just in case we do want to change it. Although maybe we still want to use it. Yeah, let's get rid of it. You're right. Const is active. Set is active. Equals. Use state. False. And then we could do window dot. What is it? On event. Add event listener. Timestamp. Still streaming. Yeah, I'm still streaming for a bit. Add event listener, you're right, it should be. Okay, so this actually, let's do const value equals. Wolfric, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. That is a thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You are helping me bring my content to hundreds of thousands of people around the world and helping me to support my dreams. Thank you so much, Wolfric. I absolutely appreciate it. I got to do 5 drinks now as well. It's time to get overhydrated. I'm going to have a sip of Coke as well, just to dehydrate me a little bit. You know, you add some and you take some away. Thank you again, Wolfic. I really do appreciate it. I'm not sure this makes any difference at all, but I'm just like, I don't want to change the value unless it does differ. Use sync external saw. Oh. Whoever said that, I missed it. Thank you, Wolfric. Sorry that the content's been a little slow this last month, but cat issues and everything else. Hopefully it can start speeding up again. I've got a video, I think, coming out tomorrow. I did like a really quick video on one of the changes with Go 1.23. Subscribe to an external store. That's not bad at all, actually. Let's see if this works. It might not.
In my case, I have the banana version, which
Well, it's not
is
re-rendering,
a
but it's
tactile
also not publishing. Let's get rid of this. Hey, Night19, I'm doing well. How are you doing? Hey, creatives.
In my case, I have the banana version.
Okay, so nothing's actually happening, but at least we're not redrawing. Can I find your Oryx profile for your Voyager somewhere? That is a great question. You can. Let's see if I can get it. Let me log in and I'll get it up. Okay, here it is. This is, I think this is my Voyager one, yeah. How do I share that? I can write in the code. Q. I don't know if this is going to share it or not. Let me try. Let me see. It's Q5REZ. Hans, let me know if that works. That's the code for it. I can't like paste the link onto YouTube on this computer because I don't have it accessible. Do I use the Framework 16 laptop for my daily driver? Sometimes. I definitely use it mostly for coding. I use the MacBook as my main daily driver though for whenever I'm traveling or video editing. So coding is on my Framework 16, video editing or traveling is on the MacBook. I'm actually going to do a video about that. I'm trying to use UDM to set up Nix OS, but I also have Nix set up on the MacBook as well. 404 not found. I wonder if I can share this. How do I share it? I mean, it says it's not private. Q5REZ. Okay, let me go on my other computer where I can copy and paste this. It's going to be a bit boring for a second, so I do apologize. Voyager layouts. Here we go. I got it. Have some questions about the Framework 16. How much battery backup do I get? Oh, you found it. Cool. No worries, Hans. So I have the GPU module, so I get not very much depending on what I'm doing. I want to try it without. The Framework 13 I use without. I use it as well periodically. That I get about 6 hours. So the Framework 16, not that great, but mostly I leave it plugged in, so I have it charged at 60% anyway. So I don't get it even. I don't get any more than that, but I mostly use it around the house. Like I said, for travel, I use the MacBook Pro just because it's fantastic for battery life. But yeah, Framework 16, most of the time it's plugged in and I have it 60% charged anyway, so I really don't discharge it that often. But it definitely lasts like an hour or two. Maybe 2. But if you want longer battery, I'd recommend not using the GPU module because it just uses it up. Yeah, unfortunately the MacBook Pro is just amazing. I mean, I don't think it's unfortunate. I think it's actually amazing that it is so good. But it's very difficult to use like a x86 machine for travel after using it because I like having 10 hours of battery. Joe Ibezez, you have an i7 12700KF and a 4070 Super and you want to sell it for a MacBook M2 Max or M3 Pro. Oh, you are correct. I don't know why it's not telling me that either. Is that like a desktop PC that you've got? Or is it like another laptop? That seems like desktop hardware, but you never know. Okay, so it's a desktop. I think, do you travel enough to justify using a MacBook? I guess what do you have installed on your desktop? Is it Windows or Linux? Linux. So I mean, macOS is okay for like coming from a Linux point of view, but there are some things I really dislike about it. Constant permissions notifications. Things just don't work as well as on Linux. I know people will, anybody uses a Mac will be like, Mac's amazing, you're always trying to fix something with Linux, but it's definitely not the case. The reason you're trying to fix something with Linux is because you can fix it. With Mac, you're kind of screwed, right? I have so many weird issues with my MacBook that I don't really get on Linux. But at the same time, I can't do everything I can on Mac when it comes to Linux, which is a bit of a shame. But if you're not doing content creation or graphic design or anything like that, then Linux, if you're just coding, Linux is usually going to be a better solution. As for leaving the house 8 hours every day, do you take a laptop with you 8 hours every day, or is it that you just leave to go work, right? I guess, yeah, what's the reason you may want to consider using a MacBook? I think Macs are great, but they're really expensive, and they do have some quirks about them that I find personally kind of annoying. It's much easier to like do technical things on a Linux machine than it is to do it on a Mac. You're usually fighting the operating system. Yeah, running a Mac as a mobile SSH terminal, that's pretty good, like a thin client. That does give you the best of both worlds. SSHing into a Linux box is pretty good. I still really want to try UDM. I think it's UDM. I got some plans to do that. Okay, let's see what's happening here.
In my case, I have...
Still not rendering. We're going with the old debugging approach.
In my case, I have the banana.
Well, I mean, it definitely is calling it. So many. I mean, I can slow down the update because it doesn't need to be 16. This is way too many updates. Let's do this to 100. Well, actually, let's do it to 200. In my case is weird. I do have an 8-hour day job, but I do nothing at work, and I would like to code at work and at home. Yeah, I get that. I get that.
In my case, I have the banana version.
Okay, let's see. This is definitely getting called. No, I get that. And I think if you are traveling a lot, the thing is, it's so hard to recommend a Mac because they are really great, but they're expensive. You can't replace the battery. So eventually the battery is going to give out. Issue with the if statement. Yeah, I think a framework laptop is good enough. If you can plug in, it definitely is. But if you can't plug in for 8 hours, then no, it won't be. But like, if you want to do anything more than you can do on Linux...
In my case, I have the banana version.
You can replace the battery on a Mac? Can you? Does it not void the warranty?
In my case, I have...
Man, it's still going with those. Let's just try this. It's a great question. What is an e.value? Because maybe e.value isn't correct.
In my case...
Undefined. There you go. It's because I am not updating getting the correct value out. E.detail. I mean, that should be correct though. Let's try timestamp here. Yeah, the number of events is way too many. Just print E. Good idea.
In my...
Oh my god, why is it still printing? My worry is that this is even slower. I don't know why it's still printing it out though. I don't know if value is a reserved word. I mean, I can't even open these up because it's still going. Stop triggering when I press pause. Oh, maybe. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm playing. Set interval. Well, I clear it when I press pause. You see what I'm saying? I wonder... Just asking how did you go about sign up with Google and Apple? I just use Auth0 for that. Yeah, I'm doing a clear interval here on the pause, right? This is on pause. I don't know why that's still running. That shouldn't be. That ID is a separate interval though. Well, when I do these move it into a memo. I mean, I'm using callback here, use callback. Because I want it to be on the node. Due to too many events in console.log? It could be that, right? I got an idea. No, like you have the set interval assigned to ID inside the onPlaying scope. Current time is object. What is audio.ref.current-time? Audio ref. It's a number. You have set interval assigned to ID inside onPlaying scope. Set interval ID to on ID, so you're not clearing the same interval, I don't think. Yeah, I think I am, right? It's the same interval. The only difference is if this is being caused here. But surely that is the same interval, right? I'm just going to run this. Let's try it. Oh yeah, e.timestamp.
In my case,
Still undefined though. Okay, so how do you get the event values out? I'm going to read the docs because I'm guessing here. Here it's custom event, you passed it in. Detail. e.detail.text. Maybe it's detail. So you need to pass in e-detail. Yeah, okay, that's what it is. E.target? No, I don't think it's target. I think it's e.detail. And this is a custom event, right?
in my case,
That's still undefined. Maybe it is e.target then? That would be the window though, right? Is interval ID inside the dependency array of the use callback? Let's have a look. It is not inside the... Should it be inside the dependency array of the use callback? No, it's an empty dependency array. I have no idea why it's still running. Let's have a look. Let's actually see if it is still running. Try printing e.target. Let's do it. We'll do it every 1 second anyway. Let's try that.
In my case, I have the banana version, which is described as a tactile switch with a...
Nothing printing this time? It's because I've got to dispatch the event, right? Let's do that.
In my case, I have the...
So the target is the window, not the event. I mean, the easiest thing to do would just be to send this, right? Not even use an interval. We'll just send it once when it starts playing, and then we can actually view the object. And then let's log out E. Done. Okay, it says detail was in there, detail.value. So it is e.detail.value, basically.
In my case...
Yeah, okay. So e.detail.value. So that is correct. Okay, let's undo everything. Oh yeah, e.detail.value. Okay, fine. Now where did we get up to? So it's got to be in detail. That allows you to pass in additional data, I guess. And then here it has to be detail. Yeah, it might be that the console.log was bottlenecking.
In my case,
Okay, that does work. It didn't look like it redrew everything. Let's get rid of the console.log though.
In my case, I have the banana version, which is described as a tactile...
I can't see it updating. Highlight updates. That could be better, right?
Switch with a gentle noise profile. Whilst using this keyboard, I actually found these switches to be rather enjoyable to type on. But if I had decided that I wanted to swap...
I think that's working, right?
I could have easily done so.
I mean, it's not redrawing everything. It's a little slow because I've got it set to 200. Only highlights when you have the DevTools open. Oh yeah, that might be actually the case.
In my case, I have...
You're right, but it doesn't seem to be...
Which is described as a tactile switch.
It's not redrawing everything.
Profile. Whilst using this keyboard, I actually found these switches to be rather enjoyable to type on. But if I had decided that I wanted to swap these out, I could have easily done so, as the switches on the V10 Max are hot swappable.
But it still doesn't solve the problem of the fact that we do have...
that you can use to switch these out.
So, okay, we do still have a problem though, I think, because you're kind of right. Shavi, and your original concern is, which AI is doing the transcription? It's Whisper. I still think we have a problem though, because you are correct. We are sending, you know, events every 2 seconds. So the redraw is better, but we are still sending out a huge amount of events. And instead, what we really want to do is, I think we want to have a single place where we're checking to see if something needs to be sent out. I still think that would be the most optimal solution. This is, I think, a lot better though. And Lacey, that is a lot of, that's you helping to get that. So thank you for that one. But yeah, it's definitely better.
In my case, I have the banana version, which is described as a tactile switch with a gentle noise profile. Whilst using this keyboard, I actually found these switches to be rather enjoyable to type on. But if I had decided...
So a manager? Yeah, probably a manager.
I could have easily done so, as the switches on the V10 Max are hot swappable. In fact, Keychron provide their own tool inside of the box that you can use to switch these out.
Okay. Oh, it's capturing everything, huh? Localhost is what we wanted. So it's still using a lot of CPU, right? Like, to play that. I mean, Twitch isn't even using that much. So I think that is still kind of a... Can you commit this and compare to the previous? I probably can, actually. Am I going to support diarization? I can't pronounce that. Diarization? I don't know if Whisper does that automatically, actually. If it does... Okay, there are some models that do it, it looks like. When I start like self-hosting the model, that's when I'm probably going to do a little more support. Initially though, this is more focused towards voiceover video content creators. So anybody who wants to share their transcription of their A-roll or their voiceovers to an editor so that they could easily find where inside of the clip that voiceover is, that's where I kind of want to go with it. Hey, Dinosaurs. Thank you. Can you commit this and compare to the previous? I think so. Let's have a look. I don't think I had the previous committed. That's the only issue. Let's stash it. Nah, let's add it. Do you have the history tree installed? Yeah, I think I can go back. I don't have the actual tree, a visual tree, but it shouldn't be too difficult to set this. This should be pretty easy to go back for it. I wonder if there's a way to do this. What do you mean cannot find timestamp? It's right there. Oh, I see. Nope, that makes no sense. Okay, that's better. Yeah, I'm just going to manually do it. It shouldn't be too long. I mean, it's just checking the timestamp and then passing in the set current time, right? This is this. And then we're just passing it in here. Which theme am I using? I'm using Tokyo Nights. All right, that should be it, I think.
In my case,
Yeah,
I
that's
have
it.
the banana version, which is described as a tactile switch with a gentle noise profile. Whilst using this keyboard,
There is something
I
wrong with
actually
my
found switches to
word
be
parsing
rather
because this is like kind of broken, but I can
if
figure
had
that out another
decided that
time.
I wanted to swap these out, I could have easily done so, as the switches on the V10 Max are hot swappable. In fact, Keychron provide their own tool inside of the box that you can use to swap.
I mean, I can see that this is already slower, just like on a visual test, but let's start recording it.
In my case, I have the banana version, which is described as a tactile switch with a gentle noise profile. Whilst using this keyboard, I actually found these switches to be rather enjoyable to type on. But if I had decided that
This is definitely slower. I anecdotally, I know, I can tell that it's slower.
Are hot swappable. In fact, Keychron provides
My guess is because it's redrawing the entire screen as well as performing those checks. What? It's a conspiracy. It won't even tell me that it's slower. Okay. I just closed that one down, but I can see that the CPU here is like before it was in the 10 to 20. Now, you know, look at this. We're in like the 50s, 40s. So this is definitely slower as it was. I didn't mean to shut that previous one, but so it is somewhat optimized. It's still rather slow, but is that okay, you know? VDON diffing? Yeah. I don't know why it's not. But like, I mean, the good thing is we have optimized it. I'm sure there's another optimization we can do. Yeah, React isn't doing anything. I think the other optimization we would have to do is basically flatten out all the words. So you flatten all the words into like a an array of times. Then you check where your current index is, what the next index is, and make sure that you pass the bounds there. Then you would update any state that would cause a redraw. That way you're not having the effects fire every time the timestamp updates. You only update the effects, if that makes sense. I think that makes sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to everyone else. So you would only update it periodically, I think. Yeah, you can do it with the same event pattern. That would be a lot quicker, I think. Just ID the actual event name. Problem is, I don't have an ID for the actual words. But I can generate an ID of the actual words, like an index. React will recount and rerun each function and updates DOM for children regardless as if it affects DOM or not. That feels like completely the opposite of what React should be doing though, doesn't it, Mosa? Like my understanding of React was it should only update if there is a change, but I guess it still needs to calculate whether or not the change takes place. And if you're passing in a prop such as timestamp, that is obviously going to recalculate the change because that timestamp is updating. Okay, so I think the main thing is I should be passing the sentences in here rather than calculating them here. Oh crap, but I passed in the transcription file name. That's annoying. Okay, so the transcription does need to be passed in. We generate the sentences here, and then we generate a sentence map. If this timestamp updates though, is it going to update this sections every time? Let's see. Let's not pass it in. Okay, let's do this other experiment. Let's reset. Yeah. You think it would still redraw it? It's kind of annoying if that's the case. I could always just hook onto the event, I guess. Let's test it anyway. I do think with the event is better. It's still going to be an issue when we get to 4,000 words though, so we do need to figure a solution. Because 4,000 words is way too many. Way. You know what I mean? But yeah, we need to generate an ID for each of these words. I think we need to generate an ID for each of these words. We need to store that ID, or we need to do the calculation of when the next word is affected, and then we need to update the state only then. But we still need to calculate it every time the timestamp updates. We just don't need to redraw every time. I think that works. Just use Jotai. What is Jotai? Flexible state management. Is state management the right thing though? I guess we would use the state management for the state of the timestamp. Is that correct? No, it only affects when state changes happening via use state. So if we use Jotai, where did that go? Okay, just signals for React. Maybe that is the right way to do it then. I'll do some more research on this afterwards. Use atoms, server-side rendering. I'm just hesitant to add another dependency in just for something that seems to me like it shouldn't be too difficult. Is what Redux? Scooby Snacks? I really don't want to add like Redux or anything in. Like it should be able to be handled within the component. Like that's the weird thing. This isn't like the most dramatic. Like this isn't the hardest problem in the world, but it seems really difficult to solve when it comes to React. But I think it's because we're doing a lot of read the first sentence of the library. Okay, I'll read it. Atomic approach to global React state management. Build state by combining atoms, and renders are automatically optimized based on atom dependency. This solves the extra re-render issue of React context, eliminates the need for memoization, and provides a similar developer experience to signals while maintaining a declarative programming model. Yeah, fair enough. So Jotai is probably going to be the right thing to use. Vue solid have no such problems. Yeah, so it's something to do with React then. So you define an atom, an atomic, And then you call use atom. Yeah, I agree. It's probably where I'm going to go. Instead of having components listen to updates, yeah, it doesn't feel very React, does it? It feels very hodgepodge. It seems like Jotai is just doing it. Where's the getting started? Or is that the getting started? Getting started. Where do you create the atoms, though? I guess in the same directory. Using state library will not solve the issue of event stream. You can create the atom anywhere and just import them. Okay. So in this case, the atom's going to be just the timestamp. Or are we going to you have to do something else with the atom? This is where I'm getting a bit confused with it. I don't know how it solves it more differently than we already are. Or I guess we have to create an atomic for every... Yeah, I agree, Scooby to Snacks. Think of the atom as an event, and you have another atom that updates smaller atoms based on that timer. Is it the streamer SaaS? It is not a streamer SaaS, no. It's more for content creators, basically, to take their audio, like voiceover or videos, and turn them into transcripts. Then you can share this transcript with a video editor. They can kind of understand what words are being said, which is important. But this is a weird bug here. That would really help me, Shivi, a quick demo. Because I'm having a hard time visualizing I think I kind of understand what you're saying. Create the word component in the class above and pass it as a prop. Then it's not a child component and we won't re-render every word. The problem is, though, it won't re-render every word. We can try dispatching words with some ID so that event stream can be reduced. Yeah, I think that's where we definitely need to go. So in the sentence splitter, if we pass in an ID for each word, right? And the word can just be the sentence index plus the word index as well. Hey, Suplency, how you doing? I'm doing all right. Been a tough couple of weeks. My cat's been ill. So had to take it to numerous different vets. And I think he's getting better. I mean, he got discharged, which is great, but there's still a couple of problems. His pupils are like completely dilated as well, which no one really has an answer for. So he's like walking around the house when it's really sunny, completely with his eyes shut. It's kind of sad, but kind of funny as well at the same time. Cat's name? His name is Kit. I call him Netcat though, because he loves sitting on routers and switches. Yeah, it's been expensive. That's the main problem, because veterinary care in the US is not cheap. But yeah, I'm hoping he gets better. The walking around with his eyes closed thing is really funny though. I'll try to take a video of it because it's kind of cute. Cat 6. Yeah, that's a good one. Expensive in Italy? Yeah, I can imagine. He had to do... So he was like almost dying on Monday. He was really non-responsive, very, very unwell. So I like rushed him into the vet. I had to get like an Uber, rushed him in. And the vet was like, I don't think he's going to die right away, but he's very sick. So we need to get him hospitalized. So they got him hospitalized. And then she was like, we don't have 24-hour hospitalization here. So the best thing to do is transfer him to a 24-hour hospital. So we transferred him to a 24-hour hospital. Yeah, kidney's okay. Everything is, it's weird. Everything is okay. That's the thing. Like, they can't find what's wrong with him, but he's not okay. I think it's like really bad constipation maybe. But I don't know. Zickles, they are public. If you do the dots command, you should get a link to them. Yeah, his kidneys are okay. No idea what's wrong, really. Just hoping it gets better, because not really. He's like a young cat still. He's like 7 years old, so he's still got a lot of life. 24-hour hospitals, yeah, there's a few of them around here. They do like open visiting hours. No, complete visiting hours as well. So like we would go there at, 10 o'clock at night just to go see him. And he liked that. He was always happy to see us. But he's back now. I was meant to be back in the UK this week, but this all happened, so I decided to postpone my trip. Which is kind of good, actually, because I was planning on taking a couple of weeks off of YouTube anyway. I do have a video hopefully going up tomorrow. Yeah, thanks, Saplency. I'm glad as well. I'm glad he's doing better. We just need him to poop by himself. We got some laxatives, because that's the other thing. Like, he had to go in for an enema as well at one point. So hopefully, if he manages to poop, then he's going to be, like, deemed okay. But we got some laxatives for him to help him. So we're kind of being creeps and following him around every time he goes into the litter box just to, like, see what he's doing. Yeah, I hope he does as well. A massive dump. Hey, Harry Roshan, what's the issue? So the issue that we kind of got it solved, but I'm adding in this effect here. Let's kind of see it here.
In my case, I have the banana version, which is described as
so
a tactile switch
as the audio plays,
profile. Whilst using this keyboard,
we highlight the word that's being played. I agree, Scooby Snacks. It's real rough. It's very sad as well. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so the issue that we have is we want to make this more optimized because we've got it so that it's not re-rendering everything. Yeah, what did you miss? So this video, we've mainly just been getting the word highlighting working.
I actually found these switches to be rather enjoyable to type on.
Yeah, I got the player as well. This is actually from Media Chrome. But I mean, it's all working. I need to add like a loading state here. But it is kind of working. Thanks, man. Yeah, I haven't worked on it too much, like just in between. Like we had to get a hotel in one of the clinics we were at because it's like 2.5 hours away. They had like a specialist there for eyes though, so that's why we went. So yeah, just been working on it. I've got like, how is it storing it? It's just storing it in Postgres at the moment. I don't know if that's the best way to store it, but I'm just storing it as a JSON-B in Postgres. And it seems to work. What's the next step? So the next step here, I want to get, I mean, this is probably fine for the MVP. I really want to get this more optimized because it does use a bit of CPU. And then afterwards, it's probably just getting Stripe integrated and see if anybody wants to pay. Did you join the Discord in the end? But everything's going pretty well. You can download a transcript as well, which is kind of nice. Awesome, awesome. I should be a little bit more active on there. I've just been completely out of it the last 2 weeks. I think Monday is where I'm going to start ramping up life a little bit again. You can bother me at any time. Like, if I don't want to be bothered, I just won't respond, but I'll see it eventually. But yeah, this is kind of cool. I'm actually interested with this. Let me actually see if I can show kind of like more of the architecture. So what's the performance issue? So the issue is, it's a React issue, I think. Shivy on YouTube's been pretty great with this. Let's see if I can just log in. But the issue we have is, so it's okay now because we don't have that many words. And it's kind of, before it was redrawing everything. But the problem is we're sending out an event for each word, which isn't really optimal. Let's have a look. So we're sending out a custom event through the window to the wall. Oh yeah, I wanted to see if this is redrawing. I don't think it is actually. No, I think it is. So the idea is I only want it to redraw a word when it needs to redraw the word, if that makes sense. So each word is a component that hooks into, determines whether or not it's active, and it's using a use effect and it's using a window. So you think you're redrawing? Yeah, it was redrawing all words every time. We've actually fixed that, kind of, and it is a little bit more performant, but it's still sending a time, like an update or an event to every word anyway, which is then checking to see if it's active and then only updating when it does change. Really, I want to reduce the amount of events that are being sent out because it is sending out a lot of events, and if there's like 4,000 words, it's not going to work. So ideally, we want this to only update when that specific word is the one that is being active, if that makes sense. And we've kind of got it, we haven't really fixed that problem. It's more performant than it was, but it's really still, like if I went back to what it was like, let's see. What about unique events created for each word when held in the higher component? I think that might be the right way to go. I'd probably need to generate a unique ID, and then I'd need to flatten out the words in order to like understand the timestamp, if that makes sense, or know when which word is associated with which timestamp, and that would be a lot quicker. Group words and redraw just a group at a time. That might be quicker. Yeah, each word holds info on the timestamp, so each word knows when it's, like it has, it's really cool. It's cool for this kind of stuff, right? Shouldn't they just be stupid words with highlight boolean? I mean, you can do that as well. So rather than them having the part, so we can just do like is active, right? Where you pass in the is active. But you still need to kind of determine where that is, even if you're passing it from outside. Can I send you the scheme of my API return? Yeah, I can. I actually think this should just be the transcription rather than the result, but I think that's fine. I'm not sure how to send you that scheme, actually. What's going to be the easiest way to do it? Just send it on Twitch. It's going to be a big JSON blob. Maybe I should use a pastebin. I'll use pastebin. I just need a single field because I only need the object keys. I'm just going to send you the whole thing because I don't know what field you want. Let's do that. All right, here we go. It's on Twitch. Something tells them to update instead. Tuples of timestamps and event IDs. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And then I guess you're storing the is active. One issue I can see is even the ones that are active or past the timestamp will still receive updates. Yeah, that is one of the issues. That was definitely like one of the issues before. Basically, you need to flatten it out. You have to solve the problem of computation with memory, right? That's it. That's it. So we just need to create more state. I'm just going to pop to the loo. I'll be right back. Sustand? I did not install Sustand. Tell me the idea. I will be right back. All right. Okay, I think the idea of flattening it out and having each word have an ID, and then you do like an is active with a hash map, maybe that's the right way to go. Sustand, you can also create functions that return a value, which you could potentially store the current timestamps within the Sustand state and create a function that, given the word ID, will return bool if it's active or not. Then that bool you can memorize with use memo. Re-rendering it, the bool doesn't change. Sustand. Let's take a look. That could work. But I didn't install Sustand, so we're still non-state management. Because there's also Jotai we could use as well. Memo plus timestamp. What's the benefit of using a use memo compared to just a use effect? Sustand is from the same maintainer as Jotai? Interesting. Use memo avoids recalculation. Okay. So that might be... Wait. Is that going to be better? on each re-render given condition. Maybe that's all we need then. If we're using use memo on the timestamp for the is active, and then we use is active, I'm going to try that. Just if I'm probably misunderstanding use memo, but I think that may work if my understanding is, or my hope is correct. The problem is we're still setting current time, right? And this is causing a re-render still. Let's try it anyway. Oh yeah, let's get rid of that console.log. So you can't cache it?
In my case,
no, but you can cache the... I mean, this is still re-rendering anyway.
which is described as a tactile switch with a gentle noise profile. Whilst using this keyboard, I actually found these switches to be rather...
But, well... Yeah, cache the timestamp of a value. So... Yeah, no, that's good, that's good. Okay, so we don't want the current time. We can get rid of that, I think, because we don't want to redraw every time. And that's generally the bad thing that's happening. So let's get rid of that. That should stop everything from redrawing.
In my case, I have the...
I really want to just pass these in. Actually, we use the memo, right? Const sentences equals use memo. All right, we can do that. Why does this stream only have 32 people? I haven't been on streaming for a while, and it's a Saturday. Not everybody stream. It usually fluctuates between 32 and 100,000. Not 100,000, 100 people. Nick's on Mac OS. Karan, it's coming soon. Don't worry. That is actually the next video I'm going to work on from a production point of view. Won't be the next video that gets released, but it's the next one I'm going to work on. Darwin Nix. I'm going to do it on DOA as well, I think. Okay, let's just make sure that this is working. No. Why is this complaining now? Transcription is undefined. Okay, that's fine. Is the SaaS going to be used in my Go course in any way? Maybe for making the videos, but not actually within the course itself. Do you have an actual component of the word yourself? I do have, this is it. This is the component for the word, which is basically the word.text is active. Nix is pretty cool. I'm really enjoying Nix. You don't like it? Yeah, I do need to remove the event listener and clean up. You're correct. I'm actually going to get rid of this for the moment because I don't want it. You keep the state inside the word, so it shouldn't re-render. Well, I need to pass it in though still, right? I think I do need to pass it in. No, you don't need to. But there needs to be a way for the is active to respond, right? And here we're doing it with that window listener, which is why it's not updating every time. But the problem is still every word is still has an event listener listening to it. Where is Yusuf? I haven't been on Discord for a couple of weeks, so I don't know what's even going on over there. Last I saw, he was still in the gulag. Past the event name. So you mean like timestamp of, like, say, foo, right? I mean, that would make it a little easier. It doesn't feel very React. So that's the yeah UUID. I'm just using foo as like a what's it called placeholder. But in this sentence splitter, then you think we should generate UUIDs for these words. So in this part, I mean, I would rather use something less. Is the UUID gonna? It's probably not. Only if the thing changes, right? No need to be sorry. Because the words themselves don't actually have UUIDs, that's the only problem. We'd have to generate one. I don't know if I can generate one on the client. You got it, Supplency? I think I have it already. This is the thing. Let's see. Bun, add UUID. Still complains about it. I don't know why. There is a V7, yeah. There's actually a V8 as well. A single component that has the listener. Keep the words in a hash map where the timestamp changes. It calculates which words is active and then... Yeah, I think that's correct, Suplency. Yeah, I think you're correct. Yeah. I think you're 100% correct. But we need to flatten all the words into... Or flatten all of the sentences into like a map that whenever the timestamp updates, we can then calculate which word is now active, if one is, right? So we get the sentences here. So we need a use effect. Is it a use effect or use memo? Probably a use memo. So when the sentences update, just do the thing for sentence. Okay, cool. Is it flat map or map? Flat map, right? Cool. Cool. All right, let's do this. So we've got a flat map of all of our words. They need to be sorted though, I think. They should be in a sorted order already, so we can make that assumption that they are. And then now we've got the time here updating every 50 seconds. So now we need to check to see, we need the current word or current index, right? Forgot the result. Oh, you're correct, aren't you? You are correct. There we go. That should work. Thank you for spotting me. Okay, so words are here. Now we need to do like const current word. Is that right? And set current word. We can do this actually as a part null. Wait, is current word the right thing? I guess we still need a current word, right? But I don't know if we want to set the current word to trigger a redraw. Oh, this is, yeah, always with this stream. It's so fun doing these sorts of pair programming things. Adam. Yeah, it's always like a massive mob programming. I actually don't need this use ref. That was for something else. I may use it in a bit, but that was for more triggering whenever. Write a hook that manages all of that. I have no idea how to write a hook, Suplency. That's my issue. I'm not, I need to learn how to do it, obviously. That would be the React way. I mean, it's just a function. Let's have a look. Building my own hook. Use friend status, friend ID, set is online, use effect. I see. So you would say, like a hook here would be function use current word. Is that right? You need to pass in these sentences. Or the whole thing would just be a hook, right? Problem is I passed in the sentences. I'm going to do that in a bit. I'll tidy this up once I get it working, because otherwise I'll get distracted. Okay, so current word has actually got to be an index. And this is going to be an int. A hook that gets sentences or words as a parameter, binds to the event and returns something. Yeah, I do think that is a good idea. Number, thank you. I actually have to go shortly. That's annoying. I was hoping to get this resolved. Maybe I can do a stream tomorrow. That would trigger re-rendering of children if the state is updated on the parent. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it'd be kind of easier to create a hook. Yeah. Children won't re-render if their parameters won't change. Is that true? Well, let's see if we can update the current word index and just see if that... It's not on GitHub, no. Unfortunately, this is going to be private because I'm going to sell it. I know, it's not open source. No open source, this one. Okay, let's think. If a node gets re-rendered, all its children nodes will also get re-rendered. Yeah, I think that is true. Lakeway, I missed those Neovim Python setup. Can you do one for Java Neovim development specifically using lazy NVim? Maybe, maybe. I know Andrew Coutier has done a good one. Coutier, I think this is way. Change the cursor to a beam in insert mode instead of a block in NVim. This is a beam in insert mode. Dot length ain't a function. You're right. Yeah, I think this is the main problem, is they haven't optimized the re-render part. So setting But wait, if it's re-rendering the entire children whenever something in the state changes, how do you solve that? Surely React is incredibly slow then. React is like this by design. Use memo. Voshon, you don't know what he's doing. I don't even know what I'm doing either. I'm just trying to figure out what the next word is. Oh, yeah. Okay. I actually think we can just get rid of that current word for the moment. The words are all sorted already? Yeah, they are already sorted. So I'm not sorting them, but I'm iterating through each. You have a really fast implementation? Go on, Shivi. Share it with me. Put me out my misery. The only thing we have here is if there's like a really short word, then we miss that out. I think it is a buff line. It's true, I'm not open sourcing it. All right, Shivi, I'll wait. I'll wait for you to be done. Let's just test to see if setting the current word index is going to trigger a redraw.
In my case, I have the banana version.
Well, we don't even know if that's even working. Now we know.
In my case, I have the
It's not working.
version, which is described as a tactile switch with a gentle noise profile. Whilst using this keyboard, I actually found these switches to
Reactive reference memo. Let me have a look. Let's take a look. Memo lets you skip re-rendering a component when its props are unchanged. Ooh, I see. I should have condensed everything down to a single array, but I will ID them. At least I think I had.
In my case,
Why is this exiting? What are the words length? Memo the component. Skipping re-rendering when props are unchanged. You can create a component that React will not re-render when its parent re-renders so long as its new props are the same as the old props. Such a component is said to be memoized. So we can use memo to effectively, but we have to check to see if the props are equal, which is, what is our props equal? Our props equal is a function that accepts two arguments, the component's previous props and its new props. It should return true if the old and new props are equal. That is, if the component will re-render the same output and behave in the same way as with the new props as the old. Oh, so we could... Yeah, no, but I think we should use this. I think we should use it to check to see if the isActive changes, right? Does that make sense? So like if the timestamps are still the same, if that makes sense. But I do think that will help with the re-rendering, even though you could do it with the isActive anyway. Yeah, I think that is a good idea. I think memo is the correct way to do this. I'm going to bookmark this because that is probably going to be part of the solution. Just for fine grain checking. I don't know why my words at the moment are length of 0. Let's just change this to be 250 as well. I probably need the words to be in the use state.
in my case,
Okay, yeah, so the words aren't. I don't know why this doesn't work either.
in my case,
I mean, the pausing is cool, but I don't know, there's something weird going on here with this interval stuff. I actually think this is going to be better here. On-ended. It should also be being called. But it looks like, I think there's just some weird behavior with the audio ref. So I'm going to do a use effect. On the audio ref dot current.
in my case, I have.
Thanks, Vishal. I actually have to drop off in like 5 minutes. So I don't think we're going to get this done, but I think use memo is the right way to go. But this is a hard problem to solve without just throwing compute at it. But I think memo, yeah, is going to have to solve it. I'm kind of shocked that React doesn't work this way because that's kind of what I would expect it to work as. Very interesting, to be honest. Unless it's just a skill issue from my end, but I mean, it doesn't seem to be working how I would expect this to work. React doesn't care about performance. I mean, the name React is quite literally about reacting. If you want performance, use solid.js. Problem is, I also want the speed of development that comes with using Next. React compiler, I will check it out. I will definitely check it out. But this has been a really interesting, maybe not on stream. Yeah, I think I'll give it a go and take a look at it. I think Fireship and other people, more front-end devs, have taken a look at it. But I can look at this stuff from like a back-end dev who doesn't understand why these things are actually difficult. Solid Start is as fast with development. Does it have good like Auth.js though? Not Auth.js, sorry. Auth0 support. Less performance problems than I now have. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this is more like, I guess, I don't know. It shouldn't be this difficult. Surely not. This is interesting, but I don't know why the interval is still continuing, even though I cancel it or I pause. There's a few bugs to fix. Use foot gun. I can imagine. I mean, we had something working at least. What I don't understand is why pausing this and it's still going. That shouldn't be happening. Like, there's no way that that should happen. I also don't understand why the words is not being updated. Let me take a look. I mean, that works, right? I really don't understand this. That does seem to work. Yeah, I think that's probably the right way to go about it. I mean, okay, we do have a... Okay, it's not really actually flat. No, maybe it is flat. It's just showing me the 1 to 100. So, I mean, we've got the words here. There they are. The measured ref. I don't know why the words don't exist here unless it's capturing the words. I might be missing a tidy up. But then it would still... I don't know. I should create a new framework. Yeah. I might just go back to using Go. Use Go and vanilla JavaScript. Because I'm sure it's easier to do that. You just use IDs and stuff on the field. And that's so much easier. Just use an ID, update it with jQuery. Life was easier back then. All right, it is way past the time I need to leave, so we're going to find somebody to go and raid. Hence solid. Right, who are we going to raid today? The OF4? I mean, we raid them all the time. Let's find somebody. Do I have a set time that I stream? I really don't. It's usually around the same time on a Saturday. And I usually go a little bit longer, but today I gotta sort out the cat. I think we just raid OF4. We'll keep it consistent. Let's go do that. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I think we learn an awful lot today. And I'm going to try and do a bit more of this later on tonight, but we'll see. But anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Should have a new video coming out this week, either tomorrow or Monday. We'll see. But catch you then. And everyone on YouTube, thank you for watching as well.